players, and I'm delighted to say that with me in the studio, we've let him out of the commentary box. It's Tony Holgate. Tony, this is going to be very tough for these players, and I think both Terry and Rob are in for a bit of a battle here.
Yeah, both players have been at this stage before. Terry Hunt, I mean, he's got a big task to beat Rob Mckenna. He's not playing his best pool. I know he won his quarter-final 9-2, but that didn't reflect the way he played.
Yeah, and you've got to say that Terry, the way he played in his quarter-final, he made 1 or 2 errors, and if he makes those sort of mistakes, as you were saying to me before we came on air, Rob will have him in real trouble.
Well, we've seen how strong Rob McKenna's been in the past, and I mean, he's so fired up as well. Like in his quarter-final, the way he's pumping the crowd up, I mean, he's going to be, I think, too tough, really, in my opinion, for Terry to handle.
He is a very serious, experienced competitor, no doubt about it. Let's take a look at the record of Rob Mckenna. These briefly the facts about him. Scotland, his country of choice now, although he lives in Wales, 34 years of age, seeded number 7, and as we said, twice former champion, 94 and 97. As for Terry Hunt, well, he is from the city of Sheffield. They call him the Blade, 35 years of age, a beaten former finalist here back in '99 against Quentin Hann, and those are the brief facts about Terry Hunt. So just let's get a final verdict on this before we move on with Tony. How do you see this match going? Are we going to see a very offensive game, or is there going to be some tactics coming into play?
Well, I think we're not going to see many tactics. I think it's vital that Terry Hunt gets in early against Rob Mckenna, because if Rob gets sort of 2-3 frames in front, starts pumping the crowd up, yes, Terry's in for a rough time.
Will Terry be able to stand that, the pressure from Rob and possibly the noise from the supporters?
Well, I mean, his results in the past, Terry, you know, he's a great player. But I think because he's not practiced as much as he'd like to, I just think it could be too tall an order for him.
Yeah, we are about to find out. It promises to be a great semi-final. Settle back and enjoy it with us now. Here's MC Alan Hughes.
Thank you, David. And first we welcome the only player to have won the title to us, a rock-solid competitor. He is sure to be totally prepared for the battle ahead. Ranked the world number 7, will you welcome, please, the very talented Rob Mckenna. Paul Classy, and equally talented with a terrific championship record, who has breezed into the semi-final in typical style. Ranked the 5th best player in the world, will you welcome, please, the Blade from Sheffield, Terry Hunt.
So we're just about ready to go then in this first men's semi-final of the Embassy World Pool Championships, coming to you from Blackpool. It's Terry Hunt against Rob Mckenna, a commentary from Jim White.
Yes, very much looking forward to this one. Thank you, David. And both players here, by virtue of very contrasting visits through their quarterfinal matches. Terry Hunt, a comfortable 9-2 winner over Tony Vojevic, whereas Rob Mckenna had to scrape home 9-8 over Lee Kendall. And Mckenna, dressed in black, he's the executioner, and he'll be breaking off here in the opening frame of a schedule 19 in this, our first semi-final.
That's not a very good break there to start off. In his last match, he only had 1 out of all his breaks, and this is not how Robert wants to start this match.
Well, you just heard from Neil Blake there, and also joining Neil and I, Mick Hill. And Mick, as we said, and obviously Tony Holgate in the studio with David, he feels that quite possibly Rob might be just a little too much to handle for Terry.
Well, when Mckenna gets going, he's a hard, tough competitor to beat. I think Terry does need to get in early, but Terry is a great player, as Tony said, and I really do think he could win this match.
Very competitive, and no one had a better view of the way Mckenna played in his quarterfinal match against Lee Kendall than Terry Hunt. He was a studio guest and was the first to acknowledge he was going to have to raise his game a level or two to compete with Mckenna.
That's right. Robert likes to bully players as well, get the crowd involved, and if that happens, it's going to be hard for Terry to keep his head.
Yellow's the ball of choice for Terry Hunt right now. And so important. And Terry knows full well these early frames have to go his way, especially when he gets the first look in. Terry's business now running a club in Sheffield is taken away from his practice time, but he's tried to make up an awful lot. I've seen him around the practice table quite often during this event, almost like cramming for a test.
That's right. He's very consistent in this tournament. He's played that very well.
Yes, one of the more awkward yellows there, Neil, and right away he's on it.
That's right. Well, by playing that shot, it's opened to finish up lovely. He's got 4 balls left. You'll be left on his next hardest ball with his other 2 balls open with a nice easy black. So
yes, and more importantly, in removing these yellows, he does open the black up. Just make sure now that he's gone far enough to leave the yellow nearest the bottom right corner. This is pretty straightforward and important. It'll be a real boost of confidence for Terry, too. He started out his quarterfinal in shaky fashion.
he's in good position here.
He wants to try and get as straight as he can on that yellow. And he's having a look now where he can take the cue ball to, because the 8 only available bottom right. Digging into the white. Well, I think you'd be happy with that.
That's right, he's bridging over there. It's quite an awkward shot.
It's a tough test here for Terry early.
Got to roll it, Mick, eh?
Yeah.
There you go. When you have to roll a ball, if the nerves are ever going to be exposed, that's when it comes.
That's right. In the first match Robert played in the quarterfinals, he seemed to get nice easy leaves from Lee Kendall, who was getting in first each time, and just leaving him. It's happened again here for a first frame.
Well, Mckenna very quickly getting rid of the reds that were toward the left-hand side of the table that the yellow pocket was being guarded with.
Yeah, Terry's got to make sure he doesn't get anxious if he misses chances like that. Your body can heat up and you can start really feeling the tension. Played a lovely shot there.
Well, if Terry Hunt didn't know it before, he knows it now. He can afford no mistakes against the former 2-time winner of this very event, Rob Mckenna. Down goes the 8. Mckenna opens accounts here in the semifinal. Takes the opener 1-0 in this race to 10 over Terry Hunt. Well, that's going to be a real tough pill to swallow for Terry Hunt. A bad missed yellow in a frame he knew he had at his mercy.
That's right, and at one point there looked to be an easy finish. Left himself awkward, bridging over balls, missed that yellow there, and that seemed to be definitely the turning point in that game.
And then slotting the 8 into the center pocket to punctuate victory there. And Mckenna has just sent the message straight over to Terry Hunt. Miss at your peril.
Second frame.
Frame number 2 now, and Terry Hunt will be looking to erase the memory of that bad yellow that cost him the opening frame. A good break now. Red down, bottom and top. His choice of color. And you know Terry Hunt will be up for this one.
Very nice break shot actually there. He stopped the white ball dead, as you can see. The only chance you've got of actually knocking the white in then is by one of the other balls cannoning off and hitting it, and then hitting you into the middle, which is, it really breaks the challenge down of breaking, you know.
Yellow's ball of choice. Neil, even though he slotted in 2 reds off the break, simply because of the positioning of them.
That's right. again, well, he's got the black into the left-hand centre. He's taking this yellow away now to make room for the other yellow. So as long as he gets a decent positional shot off this one.
Yeah, I think Terry needs to get these in the early stages.
That's right.
McKenna's very tough to stop once he gets going.
It's a nice shot.
Ideally, he'd like to leave that yellow at the bottom end of the table for last. That affords the easiest position to the 8. And that's exactly what he's going to be doing. Well, has this been a workmanlike performance? If you would have sketched this out on paper, this is exactly how the clearance would have appeared.
That's right. He had to get the memory of the last frame out of the way, and he's done it quite
Down
nicely
goes
there.
the 8, and that quickly, Terry Hunt erases the memory from frame 1. It is now 1-1, McKenna and Hunt in this best of 19 semi-final.
Well, that's a nice bright start from both players. Tony, I think that we saw very clearly early on that Rob has said, as Jim was pointing out, one mistake and I will punish you.
That's right. First error from Terry Hunt in the first frame during the yellow ball. Rob McKenna jumps in, bang, 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 and he did it quickly as well.
Yes.
Trying to hurt him.
Yeah.
But great response though from Terry.
Well, and Terry played that one at decent tempo too, didn't he?
He did, yeah. He's fired a bomb back at Rob McKenna saying, look, I'm not here just to take part.
You just wonder, bearing in mind the problems he had in his in that first quarter-final when things didn't quite go, he's raising his game, as he knew he had to.
Yeah, well, there's no question of that, because if he doesn't raise his game, he's going to get slaughtered.
Thanks very much. Here's Jim.
Rob McKenna cracks into the triangle of reds and yellows now. Frame number 3.
Open table.
And very similar to his quarterfinal match against Lee Kendall, he just cannot sort out a successful break-off. But look at the mess in the bottom left corner.
That's
Reds,
right.
yellows, what a nightmare situation that is for either player.
Yeah, in his first match in the quarterfinal, he only had 1 off the break in 8 breaks, and he got off to a similar start. In fact, it's a worse start with an in-off in the first break. It's going to be hard to clear off the first break, so he may be looking for a tactical advantage here.
Yellow ball's in play.
Well, right now, to gain that, he's going to have to get a yellow inside that red in the bottom, unless he uses the 1 yellow nearest it. If he could get in the right area, he could use that 1 yellow nearest that red bottom left. And you can see there is a path here, so if he could get into this area with the cue ball, he might be able to go after that yellow, pocket it, and dislodge the other one. Still, that would be a tall order. This is a tough-looking table that presents itself to Terry Hunt. And he can't afford that. He must maintain the initiative at every opportunity. I think he was very concerned with contact on that red.
That's right. He was after a really precise positional shot there. Robert's still going to have a lot of difficulty with this red ball round by the black. Above the black.
I went after it right there.
Yeah, that's right.
He's got another chance at it here. And he won't want to wait too long. With the other 2 reds over the middle pocket, this is the chance that you know if McKenna can get that red loose. There you go.
They're all
I
out
think
now.
That is perfect. Everything in the open. Well, if he can't get through to the red in the right-hand center, and he can.
Yeah, it's a good shot there, just making the angle to get on the other red into the centre. He's going to try and leave himself a nice angle now off his next red to get back out to the left-hand side of the table for his last red. Playing up now.
Pinch the pocket a little bit there. Now it's going to be a little tougher.
He's okay.
Cleared that yellow. That was the problem. Well, Terry Hunt has missed 2 balls, and each one of them have cost him frames. But it has to be said that that clearance is as good as it gets. Rob Mckenna out. 2-1 now in front of Terry Hunt.
Terry Hunt to break. 2 frames to 1.
And Terry Hunt breaking off frame 4. And this time, nothing down for Terry. And a quick look at the yellows look pretty inviting.
Yeah, the blacks tied up a little bit by one of the reds, but other than that, the yellows are in nice positions.
It could be reds, though, for that very reason. Bottom left.
It doesn't look like that black goes at the moment.
Mind you, where's he going to start on a red? He may have to shoot the yellows.
That's right.
Mick, we've lost you over there.
Yeah. I really think that Terry has to start getting himself back in the game. He's missed a couple of easy balls, to be fair, first couple of frames, and I think he's got to cut those errors out. Mckenna's looking very confident.
Well, the problem ball here, obviously, Mick, going to be that 8.
Yeah, I think he's got enough yellows, though, to leave an angle at some point to cannon the black out.
Now, in a situation like this, would you be selecting the last ball you wanted to leave on the table to attain ideal position on the 8?
Yeah, well, I think he's got a couple of choices. He could leave the one on the right-hand side, just to come round and leave the black, or he could cannon the black out, knowing he's got 3 yellows to land on. Just like that.
You hit that one on, Mick.
That's right, and he had a good chance of being left on that yellow in the middle of the table. Even if
the contact wasn't ideal.
Yeah, that's right. He had a good chance of being on that ball.
I think Rob's got a couple of options. He could take the ball in the middle, but I think the shot is the one up the rail, and if he gets it, the frame is there.
Tough shot, this one, though.
30 seconds.
Well, you know, he just pulled back there. He was ready to pull the trigger. The timer said 30 seconds, and he hesitated. And that just broke his rhythm and his concentration enough. Now ready. He's ready to pull the trigger right here as he pulls back. Well, obviously the timer had already set it, but I know Rob's rhythm. I've seen him play enough, and that was broken there.
Yeah, I think he would have taken the ball in the middle there, but he was bridging over the red if he'd tried it.
The table looks very nice here for Terry.
Yeah, they're sitting pretty.
We can just pop the one in the corner and cannon the one over the middle bag.
Just have to drop onto this one, didn't he?
It's perfect there.
That's a good shot.
He's got to be feeling a little better, does Terry Hunt, though. He's seen Mckenna miss a ball.
I think Terry's looking a little bit more focused than what he did in his quarter-final match. He realises he has to pull out all the stops here to beat Rob.
That's right. He was a big favourite in that match, playing the Australian. Although the Australian had already beaten Jason Twist, who was the champion. Perfect position.
Eight down, Terry Hunt and Rob Mckenna once again level pegging. 2 frames apiece. Hunt that time punishing Mckenna for his miss. Well, we're going to have a look at that miss that, in my opinion, had his rhythm broken. See, he was ready to pull the trigger there, and he didn't. He pulled the cue back, and that was the moment that the timekeeper announced 30 seconds. I believe that just broke his rhythm enough.
He's a very fluent player, Rob, and I don't think he'd done him any favours now.
Mckenna all set to break. Frame 5. And finally, he solves the problem of the break. A red in. And can he maintain control of the table?
That's right, he needed to get something going on his break. He didn't break well in the last match, but you can't keep on winning matches without getting balls off the break.
I think the Reds look fairly inviting here for Rob. If you can
Yes.
pop the one in the corner and just cannon the one, which is to the left of your screen by the 2 yellows.
Played that well. It's a lovely shot.
He doesn't waste any time, does he? He gets right after the problem areas, and I think that's been one of the keys to his success.
I think that's a big key to the game, Jim. Attack your bad balls from the beginning, get the problem areas out of the way, and then start to attack.
If nothing else, Mick, it sends a message to your opponent.
Yeah, it's not very good sitting in your chair knowing that the other player's very confident and attacking at every visit.
That's what Robert's doing at the moment.
Silky smooth, but he's lost the white.
A bit careless there from Rob.
That's right, he had to get through a bit more, get the reverse revolutions going for that white ball, but it just didn't take.
Seems as though he could be hesitating slightly on his pause. The last frame and this frame looks as though Rob could be feeling a little bit edgy.
That's right, there's not the same atmosphere at the moment in it to the last match, his last quarter-final, where there was a little bit of needle in the match.
Well, 2 visits.
Well, he went after that red off 2 cushions, the miss, and now the 2 visits turned over to Terry. And that's the second time Mckenna has gone back to his chair after a very negative appearance.
He's had a good couple of confidence boosters finishes as well, Terry. Nothing too difficult, but if you knock them in, you start fancying the job a little.
It's a very steady performer as well, is Terry. Very consistent.
And very consistent in this event. The last 4 years, he's been through, well, in fact, the last 5 years, he has not failed to make the TV stages here. Well, I'm going to correct myself one more time. In 1998, so 4 of the last 5 years, I think I just about will get this right. But certainly the last 2, beaten finalist in 1999, the year Quinton Hahn won it. He's been through to the semifinals, as well in 96, losing to Tony Holgate.
Well, he's taking these out nice and easy. Never out of position more than a few inches.
8 down, and Terry Hunt sees his first lead in this match. 3-2 in front of Rob Mckenna.
So Terry Hunt with a steely look about him. They call him the Blade. He comes from the City of Steel, and he certainly appears to be responding well to the pressure from Rob.
Well, that's the best I've seen Terry Hunt play for about 6 months. All of a sudden, he's just managed to find some sort of gear inside him.
Yeah.
He's turning it on. I mean, he looks great out there.
And you're saying the head is not moving, he's keeping down on the shot, he seems to be very confident.
Well, it's very noticeable from his quarter-final that his whole game has changed now. Like against Tony Vojovic, he was sort of pulling up on shots, but he's cueing really well.
Yeah, and the body language means so much. You can tell just by looking at the way the guy approaches the table.
That's
what sort
right.
of frame of mind he's in.
It's the speed he's going through the balls as well. It's incredible.
They're not hanging around, these two, are they?
That's a great match, isn't it?
It sure is. Right, back to Jim.
Well, very true. Body language says it all. Terry was very concerned that he was such a big favorite in his match against Tony Voyevich. And he's just broken off here successfully in frame number 6.
That's right, he's looking very positive here.
Red ball's in play.
It's a great break there for Terry. If he can
It's just first ball.
put the first red into the centre pocket, they look very inviting.
Still, there's a little bit of work to do here.
30 seconds.
He nominated reds,
Yellow ball's in play.
so it's yellows on for Rob Mckenna. And I don't believe he's left anything easy for Mckenna.
No, he may be playing a little tactical shot. Just knocking the white behind the yellow, maybe.
Total snooker.
And Terry'd have the choice here just to run it behind it. And leave Robert 2 shots from there. Makes it very hard for Robert to pot with his first shot, which just leaves him the one visit then.
There's not much he can do here if he wants to try and take the aggressive route.
Yeah, he's just going to move the white out and leave himself a shot.
Yeah, I think we'll see Rob play the yellow in off the red here over the middle bag, just to develop his yellow on the side cushion.
Caught her a little thick there to actually develop his ball.
Still a lot of work to do. Yellow
right.
nearest the black, just to the right of it's a little bit dodgy.
Oh, it's a
Well,
great
that
shot
didn't
there.
hurt. Another look here. He had a big pocket. That cue ball really jumped when he struck it.
That's right, he was cueing over the red, so made the power being forced down into the white, made a jump. It's a nice shot.
And is he on the awkward yellow just to the right of the black? If he is, he'll take it right here.
He's created a good opportunity for here, Rob.
I think he can.
There's a clear view through there. We just moved that red.
Well, there was a couple of options there for Rob. He could have elected the yellow into the centre pocket and just cannoned onto the black to leave himself on his bottom yellow. So things are not too easy now.
No, long straight one now, Mick. The only option. And position has to be very precise. Well, not bad. He got a shot at it, but again, he's still got to ask that white ball to do a little dance.
I think he's going to need a very good positional shot here, Rob.
That's right. He's only got, really speaking, one pocket.
Maybe off the side valve in
Ideal.
behind the yellow for the centre pocket.
That's what he's tried. I think he's probably going to take it into the top now. Or maybe even play it into the middle and cannon the black.
I think you're going to see him play this into the top right corner and just stun the cue ball for the black bottom right.
Missed it.
Well, it was that close because he had finished on the black, but he just left himself a little too much to do. And Mckenna, right now, with a lot on his mind.
That's right. Although Robert is favourite in this match, a 4-2 deficit at this point would be a hard one to bring back.
Go a long one to boosting Terry Hunt's confidence.
Well, the last couple of frames now, Terry, he's just mopped up the table after Rob's error. And I think he's going to do the same again.
And first things first, let's try and secure a little insurance by extracting the foul and with it 2 visits. Now I think Mckenna can just get to this one off the side cushion.
I think Terry realised the importance of this frame. 3 each or 4-2. It's a very big difference at the early stage.
Well, then again, he can't.
Foul. 2 visits.
2 visits now for Terry Hunt, and that should spell relief.
Yeah, Robert didn't have that much to do with that shot then. He was a bit lax on the snooker out.
I think even though Rob's a big favourite, I know Terry's got quite a good record against Rob, and he'll be fancying this one.
Yeah, Terry's pace of play noticeably speeded up. Sign of confidence.
He's looking very focused, which he'll need to be tonight.
Eight down, and Terry Hunt punishing in this semifinal. Every mistake that has come his way, he has capitalized on. Mckenna right now suffering. It's 4-2 to the Blade from Sheffield. Well, the referee hasn't even finished racking yet, and Rob Mckenna that anxious to get on with it. 4-2 to Terry Hunt. Frame number 7. He's shaking his head, and he hasn't even hit the break yet.
Frame, Rob Mckenna to break.
Negative thoughts in that man's mind.
Another
We'll have
bad
a little
break.
bit more to think about now.
Well, I've never seen Rob struggle with his breaks as much as he has done the last 2 matches. Whether he's not quite hitting the ball right, or I don't know, but
Robert has been playing a lot of 9-ball lately, which should help your break. But obviously the bigger balls aren't helping him today. These are quite nice on these reds.
Yes,
Yellows are quite nice as well.
30 seconds.
This is going to be a big opportunity for Terry Hunt. Already 2 frames clear. If he completes the clearance and victory here to go 5-2 in front, I don't know if there's going to be any way back for Mckenna. Rob can certainly console himself with the fact that it's a little longer session in the semifinals, a race to 10 as opposed to the quarterfinals being 9. So he's got 1 extra frame to try and get back into it, but he doesn't want to dig himself too big a hole. Looking for his unprecedented 3rd world title.
nicely controlled shot there by Terry.
That's right, he was a bit loose with his first positional shot. Had to bring it back.
I think he really needs to get one of those 2 to the centre of the table in either the centre or the corner pocket, just to cause any difficulties later on. I think they're all blocking each other at the moment. I think he's coming into a bit of trouble there, Terry.
It's all about cue ball control in any billiard discipline. You can make your job so much easier. And I'm not sure what he's got on here, if anything.
I think possibly maybe the right hand one of the 2 could sneak into the bottom right pocket.
That's what he's looking at.
30 seconds.
Yeah, it does. It's a nice shot. Well controlled.
just made it to the pocket.
He's in prime position now.
That's an excellent shot there by Terry.
You'll still need to get on the black, which at the moment only goes nicely into the one corner pocket.
Picked up a little bit of a roll there too, which didn't hurt him.
I think we see Terry just drop the ball into the centre pocket, and the last red into the bottom left. Just drift round for the black in the same pocket.
Slightly awkward cue in here.
Not the greatest of contacts there from Terry, but it's in the pocket.
Just got to make sure and miss the yellow ball here. May even elect to go around the back of it. And he did.
A good shot.
Perfect, beautifully played and waited. 5-2 now. Terry Hunt's lead. And the man from Sheffield, the professional from Sheffield, looking for his first world crown here in the semifinal, up 5-2 on two-time winner Rob Mckenna. Well, that is the last 4 frames on the spin that Terry Hunt has just taken. Mckenna has had a look in a couple of them, a couple missed shots, and one bad positional shot from the last ball to the black have cost him dearly.
That's right, and Robert's been shaking his head the last couple of frames, which is not good body language. He's got to get out of that.
We see this one here that just about made it to the pocket.
Just slightly drifted there.
Yeah, with a nut.
Maybe a fingerprint or a little bit of chalk.
And Terry Hunt all set to open it up here. Frame 8 of a scheduled 19 in this semifinal. Yellow down.
Yellow ball spotted.
He appears to be very fit for the fight in this one.
Red ball's nominated.
And however he prepared himself, you can bet it's going to be one he's going to remember.
It's like one of them batteries at the moment. You got positive on one side and negative on the other.
Open table.
Bit careless that one by Terry.
Very careless. Still an open table. That was a big red and he knew it. It would have afforded him the opportunity of owning the bottom right pocket. And guess who owns it now?
A good opportunity here for Rob. 3-ball punt in the corner is the big key to this frame.
Yes, and the way that it's going to be played, too, it'll clear the pocket, Mick, which is even better.
Yeah, I think if he just plays the red into the cushion just before the yellow, to push the yellow away and leave the red there.
Well, yeah, he played it a little too much pace.
That's right, he's having afforded himself position here. Played a great shot though. That's a lovely plant.
He just gets down and plays shots that a lot of players would look at for about 35 to 40 seconds. He gets down and plays them and expects to get them. Well, there's a handy fluke. Missed the red in the intended pocket. And how useful this one will be. And that could afford him a victory, which it might well have cost him defeat.
Yeah, could be a big turning point in this match, that. 6-2, 5-3.
That's right, I think he had some negative names to call that red ball then before it dropped in.
The 8th down, and Rob Mckenna secures the frame by virtue of a fluke ball. It doesn't matter. It's in the scoreboard now. Mckenna 5-3 down to Terry Hunt. And the missed shot from Terry Hunt here. We knew it wasn't going to be one that was going to go unpunished, and it didn't. but I don't think it was by the conventional road to victory that Mckenna would have normally expected.
Ninth frame.
Yeah, when he missed that ball, he was calling that ball a few names. Must have got frightened of Robert and thought, oh, let's get in his pocket.
Rob Mckenna breaks off. Frame number 9. 5-3 down. And yet again, this has become a familiar story for Mckenna. Can he progress through this one without manufacturing successful break-offs?
Well, he's using a breaking cue, and I find that they don't work for me. But Robert seems to think they work for him. Certainly not working at the moment.
I think he needs to start potting some balls consistently off the break. We've seen him in the quarter-final, and Lee let him off the hook a little bit.
And look at the difference in a break cue and a playing cue. The break cue is probably 12, 13 millimeters, and the playing cue, I think McKenna's is about 7 mil, isn't it?
It's probably around 8, I would think.
Looks like a pin.
I think the problem you find sometimes with breaking cues is controlling the cue ball. I don't think that's Rob's problem at the moment. He's just been a little bit unfortunate the balls aren't going in.
Terry's still got a lot of work to do on this finish.
The red, the top of the table,
Yeah.
nearest the right-hand side, is obviously a dodgy one.
Used all the pocket on that one.
And the pockets are playing pretty generous.
I think what he's going to try and do here is top the ball in the top half middle. He's going to top that through and then play like so.
Well, this is always going to be the problem ball, and I think he has to try and get onto it as soon as possible. He doesn't want to leave it to the end.
I think he's got to play it now.
I think he's hit it with a little bit more pace to get on the other side of the red, because nothing's easy under the tension, especially in the semi-final of the World Championships.
He hasn't really got much of a choice, I don't think he. I think he's got to play it now.
I'm out.
Oh no, he's getting the rest out.
Time running.
Now, can he hold for position onto that red here?
That will be difficult.
I think going this way he has to pull out 2 pots to win the frame, which he takes the ball in the centre pocket, a more difficult pot, but will afford him to win the frame if he would have took that ball.
That's right, you'd only have 1 difficult shot instead of 2 or 3. So he's played a great shot there. Got
2
lucky.
for the price of 1. Cannoning into the red, and he's knocked it in.
Yeah, he got a bit fortunate there.
Wow, terrific finish from Terry Hunt. Once again, replying to everything Mckenna throws his way. The man from Sheffield will be enjoying a short interval, 6-3 in front in this race to 10.
And so far, so good for Terry Hunt, and a big surprise, you have to say, because I think the feeling throughout the tournament was, Tony, that it was going to go the other way, and this was Rob's year, possibly, but Terry Hunt's been a revelation.
I just can't believe the transformation in him. Rob McKenna's lucky not to be even further behind. Obviously, a couple of frames ago, the fluke he had with the Red Bull. But Terry Hunt's he's been amazing. It's like a different man out there.
Yeah, and what do you think is the difference between the sort of stumbling performance we saw from him last time and the dominating performance now?
I think at the end of the day, he's playing Rob McKenna. He knows he can't afford to make mistakes. If he misses, Rob McKenna will eat him alive. That's not happened, and now he's forcing Rob McKenna to make the mistakes. And it's like a swap round of what we thought.
Yeah. Right, well, Rob Mckenna certainly up against it. The players have gone to a break. We understand Rob Mckenna, though, still here, trying to focus and get his mind together. There he is, just getting his thoughts focused on what's got to happen, because he's really up against it. He's trailing against Terry, and you just wonder what will happen when they resume play very soon. So what we'll do, we'll take a short break. Back with you very soon. welcome back to Blackpool. So Rob Mckenna really up against it in this first men's semi-final. And I just wonder, Tony, whether or not Terry Hunt would have used the interval profitably. How would he have relaxed and what would he have been saying to himself? Just keep going, you're doing okay.
Well, that's right, yeah. All he's got to do is continue what he's doing at the moment because he's playing out of his skin. He'll just want to concentrate. He knows that Rob Mckenna's not at his best at the moment and he's making mistakes.
And Rob, well, we saw him sitting by himself as we went off to the interval. He spent a lot of time reflecting on what he needs to do. What will he be telling himself?
Well, he knows that he's got to start this next session and he's got to start it as he started the first one. You know, getting into the balls and start getting his potting game back in order. The
amazing thing was he started so impressively. He looked absolutely perfect, and suddenly it went.
Well, that's right. I don't really know what happened. It was as if he's just suddenly found a twitch button from somewhere where he started to miss balls. It's inexplicable, really.
Well, he's got to stop touching that twitch button because we're just about to get underway in the second session. Once again, let's go back to Jim Weich.
Well, thanks, David. Both players now back in the main arena, all set for the second half of this men's semi-final. Mckenna with a lot to think about during that little interval.
That's right, Rob has got to dispel a few demons.
Leading 6 frames to 3.
Get back.
And Terry Hunt chalking up a much more confident player than he was in the quarterfinal. 6-3 up, frame number 10. Cue ball straight into the center pocket. That's exactly how Mckenna started this match out.
Look at these reds as well, sitting pretty.
Time running.
This will be a great way for Robert to get back into this match.
Yeah, I think Rob needs to take this finish out to give him a good chance of coming back. 7-3 is a big deficit.
Red ball's in play.
It's a lovely little shot opening up that red.
Yes, we actually had a quick discussion, Mick, before this frame that, in fairness, Mckenna could be happy to be 6-3.
Yeah, I think he should be delighted to be 6-3. The fluke in the 8th frame was a big turning point. 7-2, he would have been in a lot of trouble.
Well, he wants to take this finish out effortlessly and without any bumps in the road. He needs something, his flagging confidence right now.
Time running.
Needs to find the gap here of the yellows. Just about.
Well, I'm not too sure.
If he's touching ball there, he's going to be hard to see whether he's got a shot on this red by the pocket.
I think he miscued there, Mick. He intended to come back at considerable pace, and I don't think he can get through to that red.
Weren't the best of contacts. He just had a look, see if the red goes into the middle pocket, so he can just drop this in with a bit of side.
Well, that sure looked deceptive from our angle. Straight into the center now. Follow through for the 8 bottom left. What a visit and what a time for Rob Mckenna here. Vital that he secured this first frame coming back after the mid-session interval. 6-4, he's right back on the heels of Terry Hunt, and he knows he'll be breaking off in frame number 11. Well, mind you, the way that Rob Mckenna has been breaking, you know, it's not been an advantage. And Terry Hunt gave us an example of how a break can be a disadvantage here, too.
Yeah, he's hit that one from a bad angle, really. He hasn't hit the first ball in the right place, basically, which means it's just screwed straight into the middle. There's no bending of the white ball or hitting any of the balls. It's just gone straight into that middle.
Yeah, I always feel if he goes straight enough in the middle, it's more careless than unlucky.
That's right.
Trailing 6 frames to 4.
See if Robert can get his breaking arm going this time.
Change of direction here slightly for Rob.
Rob Mckenna to break off frame number 11.
Red ball potted. Red ball's in play.
And a successful break. We haven't seen many of those from Mckenna. Understood. And look at the reds yet again for Mckenna. That's the one thing about it. His style of play, a deficit can be erased so quickly, it can be a psychological body blow for the player that did enjoy the advantage.
These reds have come out lovely. No real difficulty here.
And when you think about it, putting this into perspective, Terry Hunt 6-3 at the interval, one bad break, and now he's going to be coming back to the table 6-5. And with a lot to think about now, that three-frame cushion looks to have disappeared. And it has. Rob Mckenna right back in it. He's taken the last two on the trot. 6-5 to Terry Hunt. And we do have a battle heating up here. And Terry Hunt has only broken. Rob Mckenna showed him how to complete a successful break-off and how different the result, the end result can be when you do. So Mckenna obviously going to be feeling considerably better now. He never got up out of his chair throughout the whole interval. Obviously just giving himself a real sound talking to.
12th frame, Terry Hunt to break, leading 6 frames to 5.
So Terry Hunt now, frame 12. Eager to make amends after dropping the last two. Breaking off, red into the center. And another.
Red ball potted.
I think you'd rather that ball stay out.
Yes, had it just hung over the pocket for him, that would have been ideal. But now, nothing easy to start other than possibly the red into the left center.
Yeah, but he's got no ball to
Red
follow
ball's in
then.
play. Delta second.
Oh, good clean pot that on. A difficult shot.
He's going to have to play the middle table red, probably into the left-hand corner. And play a good positional shot then, running through past a few yellows.
Delta second.
He's played it well.
Oh, superb pot. A little unlucky with the position, cannoning the red.
Be a nice result here for Terry if the one next to the black can sneak into the middle pocket.
And really, the game of pool is about momentum swings, and he's just seen Mckenna wrest the initiative back. The only way to restore that momentum is to fire rockets right back too.
Delta second.
Oh, what a great shot.
As good a shot as you'll see. Played with extreme confidence.
The kiss he's got on this ball is just lovely. Look at that.
Top flight 8-ball pool here, being exhibited by both of these players. A phenomenal standard. Little short of ideal position, but you can still try and snick this 8 into the bottom left. The only problem is that cue ball is going to be careening into those yellows. And a little bit left to chance.
That's right, and there's a nice middle pocket just waiting for him as well if he creases into him in a bad way.
He's got the 8. And nothing down but the 8. A sigh of relief from Terry Hunt as he replies to Rob Mckenna. 7-5, Hunt back with a 2-frame cushion. Great shot this one, and one that he had to have.
That's right, and he didn't have a bad kiss on the yellow in the end. Could have gone all wrong if you'd have contacted that yellow and knocked her in the middle, but he was safe.
Well, Rob Mckenna knows that this one looks to be heating up to yet another 1-frame decider. We've seen a few in the quarterfinal matches, 3 in fact. I wonder if we're going to be treated.
13
got one
frame,
more.
Rob Mckenna to break. Trailing 5, 7 frames to 5.
Rob Mckenna all set now. 7-5 to Terry Hunt. A terrific breaking out from Hunt in the last frame. Can Mckenna repay that favor?
Red and yellow ball.
Swap that break cue with his playing cue. Another look at it.
Yeah, he's having a bit more luck with his break. Now he's getting a couple of balls here and there.
Mick, any choice as to colors here? Anything that jumps out at you?
I think definitely the red balls. If you can get on the one in the middle or dislodge it.
Tried to on that shot. Was not successful.
Well, that's a little unlucky.
I think it was all eggs in one basket, to be fair though, Jim. I think there's a few other reds there which could have dislodged that other red.
Well, all depends. When you're going well, Mick, you miss the red and land nice on another one.
Yeah, I think if he was 7-5 up, he may have come a little bit more luck here.
And the yellows still look good as well. Any mistakes here could be costly.
Delta thick on.
Wonder if it might not be a time for Rob Mckenna to exercise some discretion.
I think we could see Rob playing the double here and dislodging the red.
Left an angle. He's left an angle to kick out his bad yellow.
Yellow ball's in play.
Well, he really does go after it. And at times, one would have to think not necessarily the right decision. He's such a good potter, though. And look at the way the balls have developed for Terry Hunt.
Yeah, he played that delicately and very nicely.
I think Terry has to seize the moment. He's got his opposition struggling. A chance to reply to the Mckenna onslaught after the interval and restore the 3-frame cushion. And I think it would be tough to overcome this time.
Ideally for Terry, I think he'll leave the yellow on the right-hand side of the table till his last ball, just to stun over for the black on the side rail.
That's right, he's in good position here.
You can see the eyes darting around, just weighing it up in his mind, the path to victory here, and how he's going to remove these yellows.
30 seconds.
He's played a bad shot there.
I think he went after the yellow bottom right. Just overscrewed the white. These are not the let-offs that you want to give Rob Mckenna.
I think if you notice, Terry's just slightly slowed down a little bit. He realises the importance of this frame. First few frames, he was flying through the balls.
Delta second.
And that could be very costly, and I think Terry Hunt knows it. Tried to pull out a difficult pot to retrieve the situation and position. Now turned it right over to Rob Mckenna. Many interested spectators here, a lot of the ladies from the international lady sides that have been here competing all week. Well, I'm not too sure that Mckenna hasn't made a mess of this. This would be a very fine clip indeed to try and make this red into the top right corner, and I'm not sure it's even on.
Yeah, I think he wanted to clip that ball a little bit thinner to leave it a bit closer to the pocket. He had a bit of a thick cannon there, which left him on the cushion with a bad red.
30 seconds.
Well, look at this. How big is this pot?
I think he was playing a safety shot there, trying to cover the black.
Not a lot right happening for Mckenna right now. He has had periods where he has looked in superb form, and then he's had some unforced blunders creep in. Oh my goodness. A little bit quick off his cue there. And you both know that's a sign of nerves.
I think Terry was halfway around before he potted the ball here, Jim.
Disappointed with that shot. Oof.
Well, we finally get a little bit of scrappy pool. And it's such a crucial stage. Who would begrudge anybody this? We can't expect these guys to be like machines out there, and Mckenna right now has to try and sort it out.
I think Terry was going yes please after that miss.
The 8 down, and 8s are wild here in Blackpool. Terry Hunt now 8-5 in front, and his wife and daughter are leading the applause parade.
Just a brief thought then about the lead that Terry Hunt's now got, Tony. Do you think this is going to be enough to take him through?
Well, you think so now. You've seen a lot of unforced errors coming from Rob Mckenna that I haven't seen for a long, long time in this game. I mean, he had a great start as well to the second session. Took the opening 2 frames, Terry Hunt couldn't get out of his chair, but all of a sudden his arms fell off again.
And the interesting thing is that Terry, making mistakes, is now getting away with them, whereas early on, Rob was punishing everything.
Yeah, that's right. I can't understand why Terry's nervous, because you can see the faults that Rob's making, and he should be able to capitalise on it, but big call now for Rob to win this match.
OK, he's only a couple of frames away from a place in the finals. It's back to Jim.
Frame 14. And Terry Hunt, as David says, just 2 frames away from a place in the final. He's been there once before, only 2 years ago, in losing to Quinton Hahn. And you know he'd just love to go one better this year.
I think Terry was being a bit more careful on his break there, making sure he wasn't going off. But unfortunately, he hadn't potted the ball either.
Not an easy table here, though, for Rob. I think yellows appear to be the balls, but maybe reds are the balls.
Well, I think he has to start on yellows just because of this one over the bottom left, Mick. Well, that hasn't helped things.
Yellow ball's in play.
He obviously felt that something had to be developed the way that he played that.
Red's definitely got the tactical position in this game now.
Well, Mckenna just played that with enough pace to knock that red over the bottom right and cover his yellow.
if Terry does get back to the table on this occasion, he's going to be sitting pretty, very happy.
He's already in a commanding position, 8-5. Mckenna effectively has to win the match from here out 5-1 to proceed through to the final. What a little 3-ball plant. He's just pulled out there. How about this shot? I didn't even think that he would take that on.
Still got two hard yellows there on the right-hand side of the bottom end of the table. I think he might be playing the bottom yellow underneath the red on the pocket now to grab this pocket. Well, he's got it. Great shot.
What kind of a finish would this be? Unbelievable. Still, he's going to try and worm this yellow into the center.
Be a magnificent finish.
As good as any we will have seen. Down goes the 8. Mckenna with a superb finish to keep his hopes alive. He pulls one back, 8-6, at a very vital time.
Frame, Rob Mckenna to break. Trial is 8 frames.
Well, Rob Mckenna can never be accused of not having character and heart. He breaks off here, frame number 15, 8-6 down, and no help whatsoever with the break. What can you change?
Well, you switch the white back and forth along the line, trying to get an angle which you then hope you're going to get a ball down. If you get a ball down, you stay with that angle. Yellows are looking nice here for Terry. But, Robert's got to be disappointed again in this match with the way he's broken.
Red ball's in play.
Although he's missed that yellow, he's still taking control of that part of the table with one ball on the pocket and one ball just off the pocket. And Robert's still with 3 balls in that area.
Well, one thing about it, though, we've seen Mckenna provide a miracle finish in the previous frame. This one's no more difficult than that one.
That's right. I'm going to take some water to see if we can turn into the wine later.
He's going to play this red off the yellow to clear the pocket. Well, in fact, he's going to gain control of it. Looked like that yellow was near enough the way that he plays. One would have thought that would have been his plan of attack.
That's right, but it would have been very difficult positional shots to play after that. Where now at least he's got a foothold in this game.
Well, still, I mean, the way that the style of play that he's employed, who would have thought that he was going to roll one over the pocket? He hasn't done that the whole match.
That's right. That's right. But now he's got Terry thinking.
I think he's just laying the gauntlet down to Terry a little bit, saying, I'm not going to have a go, you have a go.
I mean, Terry's idea would be to kick the yellow away and try to move one of the reds closer to his ball on the pocket on the other side.
I've got a feeling he tried to cut that yellow onto the red.
Yeah, I think Terry could have elected just to apply the red direct, given the deliberate foul, and put the pressure back onto Mckenna.
That's right, give Robert 2 shots and just say, well, clear this if you can.
But now, McKenna really only with one problem ball, and that's the one top right. And if he can get into this area and behind it, obviously it's going to be available top left once he clears that path.
I think he was trying to play a bit of a tactical shot there, blocking the pocket where the black was going to be open for.
You know, one might think this is the ultimate compliment for McKenna, trying to force a tactical game onto Terry Hunt.
Terry's played a terrible shot there. He left him on his one awkward ball. See Robert's eyes raising there. He's going to enjoy this opportunity if he can take it.
Center pocket. And it's going to be either center left or the red along the cushion if he can get through to it, and I'm not sure he can. So center left. Well, he could see enough to play the plant. Didn't look like that red would go past the yellow top left. He's just forged himself an opening again, fellows. You can just never count McKenna out.
I think he's fell a little bit straight there. Wants to leave on an angle for the second last red, just to hold on to the black.
He wants to get a bit closer to it. Got a bit closer, but he wants to be a bit further up the table because he's got a delicate little positional shot just to kick into the black and leave himself on this last ball. Played it well.
Well, he made sure that one wouldn't roll off. Eight down, but wiping its feet before it entered the pocket. And McKenna with a hop skip back to his chair. 8-7 now, all to play for here in the men's first semifinal. Nice little positional shot here on the red. Cannoning the 8. And he had to force this red in with a lot of power to get that cue ball up off the cushion. And then watch this 8 ball. So close to being missed. Off both knuckles and then disappearing. His heart must have been in his mouth.
Well, now, this is a good moment to discuss what's going on in this match. It's beautifully poised. Terry Hunt's still in the hall. Rob McKenna's just taking a brief comfort break. Is that psychological or is it genuine?
Do you want to be honest?
Be honest.
Psychological, definitely. He's just won 2 frames in a row. You know, Terry Hunt was 8-5 up. Just won 2 frames in a row. Now he wants him to sit there and think about those last 2 frames.
Yeah, and he's suddenly right back in this match. We thought it was slipping away from him, and Rob's suddenly right back in there.
Well, it's been 2 in a row and all the way through the game, and I can't believe that Terry Hunt has made the mistakes he's making when he was 8-5 up.
This is not the man that we saw just before the interval, when he seemed to be playing almost perfect pull.
No, it's unbelievable. Terry Hunt, for me, has played the best pull I've seen him play for about 6 months, and all of a sudden, he just switches off again and he's back to Tony Voyevich in the quarterfinals.
Right, so he's now got to tell himself, look, I did it just about half an hour ago, whatever, I've got to get back there.
That's
Otherwise,
right, yeah.
I'm out for another year.
Yeah, exactly. He's got to get himself together and just play the pull he was playing at the start of the game.
Yeah, and you just wonder, the longer this interval goes on, it's obviously good from Rob's point of view, but Terry must be so frustrated thinking, I want to get on with this.
Well, no, what I do if I was Terry, as soon as Rob comes back, I was saying, do you mind if I go now?
It's just a game, isn't it? I mean, this is what it is. It's really a head game.
Well, they're playing for the biggest tournament in the world.
Yes.
So at the end of the day, they're going to take every advantage that they can get.
Yes. And for Terry, I guess you've got to say, hasn't got the record at this level that Rob has, twice former champion. He must see this as his chance.
Well, yeah. I think Rob Mckenna now, the momentum's with him. I think we'll see him go on and win this match.
We'll see if you're right. It's back once again to Jim.
Yes, thanks, fellows. And the game within the game. Mckenna with a little bit of a psychological ploy as we see Terry Hunt ready to crack into them. Frame 16, cue ball, left center pocket. And it has all come undone. He has turned off the cruise control.
Time running.
And that must have been painful to watch if you're a Terry Hunt supporter. 8-7, and Mckenna with a glorious opportunity to pull right back on level terms.
The Reds look lovely here.
Red ball's in play.
There's not many places where you can get stuck in this finish now. He's taking it on in a nice, almost like a clockwise direction around the table.
Yes, this is straightforward for Mckenna. And again, these are painful moments for Terry Hunt. The loneliest position here. Having to watch this.
He's watched his lead run away from him in 3 frames.
Well, the long road back has been traveled. Rob Mckenna, Terry Hunt split the first 16 frames here. 8 each. One man with a positive attitude and one man with a negative attitude. Well, looking at Mckenna, you'd think he was the one that had just lost the last 3, but in fact, it's that man, Terry Hunt. And this break-off certainly didn't help it. In the final 8 to secure victory and complete the comeback for Rob Mckenna. Rob McKenna.
Rob McKenna to break.
Now 8 frames apiece, all set to initiate proceedings here. Frame number 17. Yellow into the corner pocket. It is all turned on Terry Hunt.
Yellow ball potted.
And can he find the handle and get back into this one? Because right now, everyone in this arena probably thinks Rob McKenna is going to run home a winner.
Red ball's nominated.
Yeah, he's got the momentum here. Both yellows and reds look nice.
Red ball's in play.
I think he's using a towel in between frames just to cover himself so he's not getting distracted from anything outside.
Cue ball very close to that center pocket. Again, McKenna just taking a little extra time, realizing the importance of this visit and this frame. Believe it or not, he's never been in front in this match, other than winning the opening frame.
Came close to that yellow. Played it well.
Beautifully controlled. Mick, you've seen a lot of both of these players, and I mean, this is impressive stuff.
Well, I thought at 8-5 Terry would win out a comfortable winner, 10-6, 10-7. But momentum's changing, it's Mckenna getting the chances, and he's taking them.
That's right, a lot happened in 2 breaks there.
Well, that's what the game's about, taking your chances when they come. That was a difficult frame for Rob Mckenna, and the face showed it all. 9-8 in front now, and 1 step away from being able to secure yet a 3rd successive world crown.
Yeah, but Terry thought he was more or less safe, 8-5 up. Now 4 frames later, he's looking a beaten semi-finalist.
Well, Rob Mckenna, I'm sure, eyeing that 3rd crown. And this break, a long way to helping it out. And the last black, delighted to see that disappear. Won the event in 94 and 97.
Come on, Terry. Come on, Terry.
Terry Hunt now is back firmly against the wall.
9 frames to 8.
The order of the day, a successful break-off.
Better break.
Red down. It looks like yellows are going to be the ball he's going to select here. A great split.
Yellow ball's nominated.
Yeah, the yellows look nice here. One little problem on top left-hand side. You'll need to get position on that ball.
Yellow
That's
ball's
the
in
yellow. Right up over the top left.
And you can
That's the
actually
only
get on
problem
it
ball.
after this shot. All he's got to do is top through and leave himself the other side, which he's done. A lovely shot.
Well, I fancy Terry to get these.
That's right, Mick. Use the pocket there. Every little bit of it.
Perfect angle just to drop onto his bottom ball with 1 in the middle. Just on and off the cushion.
Overhit that.
Should still be safe there. All balls out in the open.
Needs to just avoid the black.
Taking that a bit far. Looks like he's taking himself to the front there today.
But a few edgy shots coming into the fray here. Now, is there a miss that's going to creep in?
Just wonder whether this long straight yellow goes past the 2 reds into the corner.
Well, there you can see there is a path, but that would take a brave heart.
That's a tickle.
That's a
Oh,
great
white ball.
shot, but the cue ball is in the center pocket. And Terry Hunt was losing the white throughout this break.
Ball's in play.
And I fear for him that might be the last shot he plays in this year's world title. And that must have hurt.
I have to agree with you, Neil. I think the yellow through the 2 reds was the shot.
That's right, in about 30 seconds I think Terry's going to be shaking Rob's hand and putting his cue in his case. Then again, that's not a great shot. About as bad a position as you could have put the white. But still having 2 shots and using them.
Second, does it?
tradesman's entrance.
He's often a struggle getting over the line, and
This 8 into the center for Mckenna to become our first finalist here. Down it goes, and Rob Mckenna, but not without a few anxious moments, through to the finals. He will play either Chris Melling or Phil Harrison. But a jubilant Rob Mckenna and family. What a comeback for the two-time world champion. The last 5 on the trot to secure victory, 10-8 over Sheffield-based Terry Hunt.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, what a tremendous match. Will you show your appreciation to both players? Put your hands together, both
Well, a
players.
very dejected Terry Hunt, I'm sure, puts his cue away and takes consolation from Mckenna and everyone here. It was a brave fight.
And, ladies and gentlemen, I know you'd like to show your commiseration for a man who's got a wonderful record here, Terry Hunt. Well done, Terry.
And you can hear MC Alan Hughes just letting the players know that Terry Hunt
And
was one of the more
Rob, you just come over
consistent
here, have a
records of
little word
anyone
with
here.
me. Let me ask you something to start with. The interval, you sat there, you never moved, everybody went out, they had a cup of tea, you sat there, never seen you do that before.
Done something right, didn't I? No, I was just, the first session I was all over the place, missed 2 or 3 easy pots, which doesn't sound a lot, but this standard of pool, you know, if you miss them, you're going to get punished. Terry punished me. Thank God, no disrespect to Terry. Second session, he missed 1 or 2, and I punished him very, very heavily.
So you did. You know the omen here. You've been in 2 finals. You won them both. How do you see this one?
Oh, I'm not even thinking about the moment. I'm just absolutely, can't even speak. Absolutely over the moon just to get through that, because that was, like my quarterfinal as well, absolutely brilliant game, and just absolutely delighted to come through. And once again, Terry played brilliant, but unfortunately has to be a loser.
Ladies and gentlemen, into the final once again goes Rob Mckenna.
Yes, it's a lovely moment for Rob Mckenna, but of course the hard work's still to come. He's now through to the final. Tony Holgate's been watching the action with me. It's been yet another nail-biting finish. What an incredible semi.
It was unbelievable, wasn't it? I mean, the way Rob's come back there and won that, but you've got to feel sorry for Terry on that in-off there right at the end. I mean, it was a great pot, and he just took the cue ball a bit too much into the centre pocket, and he's going to be absolutely sick.
There were sort of 3 phases, weren't there, in a way, for Rob, because he started so well, went off a little bit either side, well, just before the interval, came back, and then was just brilliant at the end.
It's like the game against Lee Kendall's quarter-final there. He was exceptional towards the end, you know. When his back's against the wall, you get the best out of Rob Mckenna.
So, Tony, looking ahead to the final, how do you think Rob is going to fare?
Well, I think it'll depend who he plays in the final. You've got Chris Mellon against Phil Harrison to come. If Mellon gets there, you're going to see some fireworks. But I think with the trophy on parade in the final, the big occasion, McKenna's going to take some stopping.
OK, Tony, thanks very much indeed. Let's just take a check then, shall we, on what is still to come in that other semi-final. Chris Melling faces Phil Harrison, but Rob Mckenna, as you can see, edging out Terry Hunt 10-8 in a memorable semi-final here in Blackpool. And that second semi-final is next up here. For the moment, it's goodbye. We're back next. Stay with us.